Hey guys, my name's Brian. In this video, I will be attempting to type Cher. If you haven't finished typing Cher or you haven't submitted to the typing survey, then I suggest that you don't watch this video because it will hopefully contain spoilers for this week's class. Um, I'll be attempting to type her using 3 clips, and a heads up, I have seen one hint in the Thursday Q&A, but I haven't seen the hint on the Objective Personality web. The first impressions I'm getting from Cher is that she is talking a lot about self, and she's bringing up the judging conversation, mentioning her mother and grandmother. Of course, Oprah primed her with the judging conversation, saying, you don't seem to have that problem of doing things that other people want you to do. So Oprah started it, but Cher takes the bait, and she continues the judging conversation, in my opinion. Also, she's talking a lot about self and defining herself. What she just mentioned about the Hells Angels, I think, is an instance of the SCNI coin. She's saying when you see a biker guy, you decide, well, he's a Hells Angels. He's one of the Hells Angels, bikers. If we had Aubrey Plaza, her categorizing is NE. So she's exploding the categories. So maybe Aubrey Plaza would say something like, I see a biker and I think, what if he had a small dog? What if he was holding a bouquet of flowers? What if he was a Muppet, right? NE is going to expand things categorically. It sounds like she's saying you see something visually in your sensory and then you narrow it down to categorize it, which sounds to me like the SCNI coin. I was pretty independent. The world is a difficult place. These are slightly more abstract than concrete. I was 16. That is concrete. There she's saying something in the sensory. She gave a very concrete sensory example that you could easily draw. She said, me and Sonny were in the same room. We had twin beds. One night, 2 girls knocked on the door. There was a knock on the door. He opened the door and 2 girls were there and they were disappointed to see me. So Sonny said, you'll have to come back tomorrow and Cher can go out for the night. That was very sensor clear. What she was saying earlier, where she said Sonny was really funny and weird and he didn't find me very attractive, that's more abstract. That's more patterns. She's saying he didn't find me very attractive because over, say, 3 or 4 instances, sensory moments, she may have noticed Sonny not looking at her when he could have been looking at her in a manner that says, I'm attracted to you. So over time, the sensory adds up to an intuition, and she's just giving you the intuition there. He didn't find me very attractive at the time. So what I'm seeing from Cher is a balance of sensory and intuition, but that was very sensory clear, what she just said with the twin beds and the 2. So this is all abstract. Women who can't be who they are really Machiavellian and deceptive. This is, if we had a slider between sensory and intuition, the slider for a second here is all the way towards intuition. Sliding scale between sensory and intuition. When she said this woman is saying, oh daddy, oh honey, can I get this dress? So she could still be play last, but that is an instance of the play animal because a tribe member caused a chance. So she said, let me get back to what I was saying. So she said, oh, what are you doing in the audience? And she said, well, he's a reporter. He's not really a friend. Oprah laughed. And then she goes, what was I saying? So that is her getting back on track, which I think is an instance of OI, of let me return to my chapter talking. That being said, compared to other OIs, this is not a lesson she planned with principles and lessons. This is a random story about me, more than the same old story about me, it seems. At least that's how I see it. I'm not really sure about that. But her getting back on track was an instance of the OI function. I'm not saying it's savior OI. And then she's describing herself, saying, I'm really nice, I'm really sweet, but if you mess with me, I'd mop the floor with you. That sounded a little bit like masculine DE, and it sounded more like DI, like she's defining herself in her own mind, what she is and what she isn't.
Back in a moment.
Like masculine sensory, where she was saying, and I hauled off and I connected. I thought she'd pull back, but she didn't. That's a lot of spatial understanding there. It sounds a little bit like...
With her when she debuted the single from that CD, A Song for the Lonely, at the American Music Awards.
Really want to be able to get up there in my size 27 jeans and dance around the stage and look good. You know, I'm trying to keep the package viable.
Is she ever?
So she's kind of walking around the stage. I didn't watch much footage of her performing or much footage of her at all. Just kind of seems like she's moping around the stage here, compared to a more playful entertainer.
Do you like how you look now?
I was more happy at 40. 40 was like a very good year for me, you know. But I think for my age, I look good.
Anything good about getting older?
No.
Nothing.
No. I'm not smarter. I'm not anything. I mean, I would love to lie, but I don't think there's anything good about it.
See, I don't see what there's not to like about being 50.
Well, you're not 50.
Almost.
And I'm not 50 either. I mean, I'm about to be 56. It's not that horrendous, but if you're asking me, do I love it? No. Would I rather be 40? Yes. I can't find anything better about it. Let me just put it that way. And I'm just not gonna Gloria Steinem out and say, oh, no, I'm thrilled.
Since becoming 50, you live in this fabulous house.
Yes.
You're one of the most famous women in the world.
Yes.
You've had a hit record.
Yes.
Looks like you might just have another one.
I know. What's not to like?
What's not to like?
I'm grateful. I didn't say I was grateful. You said, how do you like being older? And I said, it's not as good as being younger. Also, I mean, I'm up there with Britney Spears. You know, I'm up there with all these girls that are 12. I'm up there with all these girls that are younger than my children.
And how does that feel?
Actually, last night it felt pretty good. And I thought, oh, this is interesting. They're happy I'm here.
And speaking of pop...
That struck me as masculine DE, her exchange there. I did see Dave and Shan's hint that values are more personal for Cher, which is a massive hint that she's an FI user. But that struck me as very emotionally honest, and it struck me as punchy like masculine DE, and maybe we saw a little bit of the no machine from Cher.
Diva Britney Spears, who often says Cher is a role model.
She has this great ambition to be better, which I really respect and reminds me a lot of myself.
Do you think, looking at her, oh, I wish I could tell her just one thing?
Oh, I've told her some things.
Like?
Take it easy. You know, if it doesn't matter in 5 years, it doesn't matter. Which is something my mother told me. Don't sweat the small stuff. You know, it's like the infomercial. 5 years later, it wasn't such a big deal.
Ah, the infamous infomercial of 1991. Having just won the Academy Award for her role in Moonstruck, critics went crazy that she followed it up with a cheesy plug, a favor for a friend with a line of hair care products.
And I'm real excited that
The infomercial ran over and over again.
Fabulous products to people. It took me a long, long time to dig my way out of that.
So why did she do it? She says now it was just a mistaken judgment. She was ill with Epstein-Barr disease. This is the note she left on her bedroom door at the time, stricken with debilitating fatigue.
It became a wrong choice. Am I sorry for it? No.
You're not?
No. It was one of those
but you
things.
really hurt yourself, don't you think?
Oh,
by
yeah,
doing it?
I really did hurt myself. But I'm not sorry I did it. Shoot me, I did an infomercial. You know, okay, you know. I've also got an Academy Award. People always decide things on success, but failure is highly underrated. I mean, failure can be fabulous in growth.
So she really processed that that people probably perceived her as riding high, and then you do an infomercial and it confused people. It would be like Tom Hanks wins an Academy Award and then the next day you see him driving a garbage truck or something. But she really processed that. We also saw that she put a sign on her door that said, "I'm sleeping, I'm here, I'm in sick, sleeping." So when she made that mistake, she had to take time to process that mistake. She reminds me a lot of Aubrey Plaza in terms of the animals.
Okay.
You're really pretty.
It sounds to me like that was an instance of thinking from Cher. In that instance, she was saying, my daughter doesn't take the tabloids as seriously because she grew up in fame or in the spotlight of fame. So she doesn't take the tabloids as seriously because she grew up in the spotlight. So that's thinking. It's cause and effect. That's just an instance of the thinking function, in my opinion. But then it's in the frame of values, which is, this is how we feel, this is how the tabloids are making her feel. So even though those couple sentences we're thinking, we're still having a feeler conversation, in my opinion.
This is my sister's room.
Ah, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, I love this bed.
It's sweet, isn't it?
Ooh. Now this is, oh my
This
God.
is actually my sister in Ebar's room, my brother-in-law. Now that I have a
God.
brother-in-law.
Look at this bed. Can I
sweet,
lift
isn't
this?
it?
What makes it
Sure.
so high?
Because we've got a
Double comforters.
double comforters. In the whole house we have that.
Oh my God, it's fabulous.
And they have a nice view. You can't really see it because we have our shutters in, but they look down valley and it's nice.
I love all the dried flowers. Tell Ron, really great touch. I'm gonna take a peek out the window, see the view. Oh, I can see. It's unbelievable. It's a nice place to bed yourself.
It sure is.
Yeah. We'll be back with a tour of Cher's personal fitness room. And
Down here is Elijah's room because he doesn't want to be near anybody.
oh, really?
And I made a little living room for him so when he had his friends over or when he just wanted to be alone or something like that. And then, so half the room is my gym.
Oh, wow. So his room is
There.
There?
That's his bedroom.
Oh,
He wanted
wow.
a small room, and so he got one.
wow. Where is he now?
He's at school.
At school?
Yeah.
Great.
And then, so I made a little living room for
Elijah's
him.
now what, 14?
15.
15. Okay. Big difference.
And so this is his living room.
Oh,
And
nice.
it makes into beds, too.
Uh-huh,
And so we
Fred can
shared it.
have
I was going to have the whole thing for my gym, but he needed a place to be. So we're
This
sharing
was
it.
nice of you.
This is his part of it, and then that's my part of it.
Neat.
I have different routines that I do so that I don't get bored, but like a typical day, Ange and I will come down here and I'll do 24 minutes on this guy. I'll do
24 minutes on Life Step.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I do the hill.
At what level? What level?
7 or 8, and then we left a little room here in the middle to do class because one day I'll do heavy aerobics and then another day I'll do a class and I'll do weights.
And so you're not interested in dieting at all, but just in being fit and strong and healthy.
Well, I have to be interested in watching my weight now because I couldn't eat everything that I wanted to eat and be thin. So it's a trade-off for me now.
How long do you work out?
I work out, if I have enough time, I'll work out 2.5 hours.
Really? Every day?
Well, but I don't, that's if I have enough time. If I don't, I'll come down and do an hour. And I never work on Sunday. You know, I give myself time off. And if I don't want to work on the weekend, I won't do it. I don't think I'm fanatical, but it's a really big part of my life.
Do you take vitamins? You do that?
Yeah, I
kind
do.
Of health
I
food?
do. Yeah, and I don't really drink, and I don't really do drugs, and I don't smoke, and I don't. I think that I don't.
I thought it was
eat
really
meat.
interesting when I was reading in Forever Fit that caffeine affects you the way it does.
I can't do it.
That the scene in
Witches.
Beeswick? Yeah.
That we had to shut down
Wow.
because I was fine with the snakes, but we never did that on this night. We hadn't done that part yet, and I had to be running out having been with the snakes, and I thought, I don't really know what my reaction is going to be. I don't know how I'm going to play it. So
Because you're not afraid of snakes.
no, I'm not. So
So I thought, well, I know coffee makes me upset, and I'll drink some coffee. Well, I don't drink coffee, and I didn't know that if you drank 4 or 5 cups at one time, that it would have an effect on you. And I've never been so uncomfortable in my whole life. I was shaking, and it was frightening.
Wow. So if you can't take coffee, then you must have never been able to ever do drugs.
No, I did when I was 14 or 13. Once I did some.
So there, when she was talking about the snakes, she kind of gave some sensory and didn't provide enough context. Like, what snakes? When were you afraid of snakes? She mentioned she drank too much coffee and that it made her feel awful. That's an instance of the feeling function. And she said that she didn't know what effect it would have on her. That sounds like a lack of thinking, because thinking is cause and effect. So therefore, her not knowing the effect of coffee is, I guess that's a lack of thinking, or could just be a lack of experience. You could chalk that up to many things. This sounds like Joe Rogan. It sounds like, oh, I'm drinking coffee, I'm working out over here, I've got some snakes. A lot of random sensory as tools. Sounds like Joe Rogan talk.
Uppers, white things, Benzedrine.
Benzedrine.
And I went to my mother. I did it on a Friday night. I went to my mother on a Sunday night, and I was a mess. And my mother said, "I hope you've learned something from this." And it was the time when you tell your mother you have, and you really have. I mean, it just didn't agree with me. I mean, drugs just don't agree with me, and I've never seen them do anything really good for anybody.
Drugs just don't agree with me is slightly more abstract of a statement. I took the white pills that are uppers. That's a more concrete statement. So everyone talks with abstraction versus sensory. But it seems to me that the conversation is a little bit more sensory. It's about exercise, coffee, snakes, and drugs. These are sensory things. So the conversation is sensory, despite the fact that each sentence will often go back and forth between sensory and intuition. I think that's the case with an ESFP or an INTJ. The sentences vary, but what is the frame? What is the conversation? This seems to be a sensory conversation to me.
Your skin's so great. You do 8 glasses of water a day. You do that.
I drink a lot of water anyway, but I don't like regular water. I like fizzy water, but that's good enough.
I do too.
Yeah, I don't like. Well, I like the fizz. I used to think that I liked soft drinks, but I like the fizzy part.
Well, we're gonna go upstairs. I think you're gonna let me see your bathroom.
Yes.
I love
I'm
bathrooms.
gonna let you see a little part of my bedroom, and then you have to see that to go into the bathroom.
Okay, just a teeny part.
Just a little.
We'll be right back.
So she said, I like fizzy water. That's the feeling function. And then she kind of did like a full body kinesthetic thing to describe going into the hallway. I don't know. I think she's double masculine because I'm seeing masculine DE and masculine sensory. So I think she's an ISFP. More formally, I think she's double masculine FISE. I think there's a possibility she's FINI. Dave and Shan might see that. She reminds me of Kim Kardashian in terms of the Saviors, SF. And then she reminds me of Aubrey Plaza in The Animals, which is consume, sleep, play, blast. She gave Britney Spears a blaster lesson. If it doesn't matter in 5 years, it doesn't matter. That is an instance of the blast function. But overall, she's not a lesson giver. That is not what she brings to the tribe. What she brings to this tribe is experiences of emotion. That is what she brought to the tribe in the course of her career. I say sleep above play because I think she's kind of mopey, and she's moping around the stage when she performs. When she had a rough patch, she went into a sleep state, posted a note on her door saying, I'm sleeping, don't come in. But then she processed it, and now she can talk about it, and it's like it doesn't even affect her. She says, I did an infomercial, shoot me. And she said that there was no shame that came out when she said that. Like, she might have said it with a little bit of pain in her voice, but she actually was over all of the pain, it seemed to me. So I would guess that she's energy dominant, and that she's sleep above play. Her being a decider and energy dominant, in my opinion, will make it so she can get a lot of things done. She would have Joe Rogan's SCTE play. So she would, and a double masculine Joe Rogan SCTE play. So that explains why she's kind of good at thinking, at least about herself and her own life. I think most of the problems in her life it sounds like, came from blindness in the judgment half of the board, not blindness in the observer half of the board. For that reason, I think Cher is a double masculine FISE, consume, sleep, play, blast, ISFP. And that concludes me typing Cher. Thanks guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed.